Hello. Thank you. Happy early Halloween. How is everyone doing? I am doing all right. I decided that we are going to work on Rod's good ending today, and then on Halloween night, I say night, but it will be around the same time I normally stream, we're going to play the Hidden Room, because I don't have a lot of time actually for Halloween night to stream, and that game should be short. I saw it should only take like 45 minutes if I'm not stupid with it. Which, I guess it's also a puzzle game, so hopefully I'm not that stupid with it. But I also found out that Cinderella Phenomenon, which is a free game, so go play it yourself. Like, don't play many dating sims, but so far this is like one of the best dating sims I've ever tried and played. But I found out there's a sequel to this game. It is not free. I will have to buy that eventually, but it's definitely one we'll play when I ever have the money and get around to playing it. But apparently it's like what happens 2 years after these different routes happen. So we'll see if that's any good. I saw it also had a lot of positive reviews, so hopefully it's as good as this one is. It also, because it's only after everything that happens in this one, I don't expect it to be as long as this is going to be. Because we're already on part 13 of this series. I didn't even realize part 13 for Halloween week. That's great. And it takes about four streams to get through both the good and bad ending. So we're still not even halfway done. But okay. I think that's it. So we'll jump in. There we go. Fuzz off my face. We're just gonna start from this save point. This was the very first choice we got. And then we'll just go from there. But I don't remember what your question was. Oh, what are you doing here? The good ending is answer him. I am here to break my curse. You expect me to believe that when you had people offering to help you at the merchant, Rod's expression changes, anger clear in his eyes. No, I don't. No. No, I know why you are really here. What are you talking about? You thought you might take back what is rightfully yours, didn't you? You have no qualms about hurting my family again. I stare at him, nonplussed at his accusation. I carefully quell the simmering anger inside of me. The last thing I want is to be fired before I break my curse. I'm not here to hurt anyone, so stop accusing me of such things. We glare at each other in silence. I had always thought that Rod was closed off and quiet, but his emotions are always blazing in his eyes. You shouldn't be here. Rod steps back, but his gaze is still fierce. I don't have time for this. I'm going to find Emily. Why? So you can insult her? No, because it is now my job to attend to her. Excuse me. Oh yeah, so Emily kinda ran off. That's what happened. So Emily's in the throne room. We could just skip because so far this isn't anything new. Oh, we're going to her friend's shop. We need to go outside. I think that's what we did last time, yep. Why do you want me out of the palace? Okay, here's something new. The further away you are from my family, the better. I glare at him. Your action is completely unwarranted. I'm trying to make up for what I've done in the past. Only because you're being forced to. Why should that make any difference? Besides, I'm still willing to help you break your curse even though it appears you do not want to. I do not realize the anger inside of me at first, and then I notice that my hands are fists and that I'm shaking. You are angry at me for treating your family with unkindness, and yet you do not treat me with any respect or kindness either. Which I find just the stupidest thing for her to say, because like, by this point, obviously, neither of them get along. But we don't know how they interacted when they first met. Rod could have been a nice stepbrother and just slowly became like this as he learned more about our terrible personality. So for her to accuse him and be like, well, you don't treat me with any kindness and respect, like, no. At this point, no, I don't. And I have every reason to not treat you with kindness and respect. Excuse me? I realize that this is the angriest I've felt in a long time, and it makes words fall out of my mouth. Yeah, words just plop right out. You are guilty of the same disrespect you hold me accountable for. We are both being cruel to family, aren't we? Rod's eyes are ablaze as he stalks towards me. He stops right in front of me, his mouth pressed in a firm line. Are you so fond of telling Emily? Oh, as you are so fond of telling Emily, we do not share any blood. The only thing pulling us together is the king, and you do not share his morals. Remember this, Lucetta, you will never be part of my family, and I will never see you as a sister. Rod storms out of the reception area just as Delora enters. Sorry, it looks like Parfait wasn't in. She pauses, then gives me a weary smile. Seems this partnership is going well. I throw my hands up in anger. He is infuriating. Not as helpful as you thought. I am surprised you were asking for his help in the first place. All I had been doing today is following around Emily, and he still finds reasons to snap at me. In his eyes, I can do nothing right, even though I am making an honest effort to break my curse. Excuse me. Delora eyes me as she slides down into a chair. Has he told you anything about his curse? Nothing useful. Delora sighs. Boys can be so secretive about the silliest things. Rod has been aware of how to break his curse from the very beginning. Then why hasn't he broken it? I have no idea. I think the only other person who knows the full terms and condition of Rod's curse is Parfait. Parfait has known Rod for a while. She convinced him to keep coming to the Marchen even after he gave up on breaking his curse. Parfait also thinks that working with you will convince Rod to try finding another way to break his curse. Another way? Don't ask me, I don't know much about his curse either. But if you keep trying to convince Rod to talk... What? But if you keep trying, you might convince Rod to talk. I doubt that very much. It seems that all I'm doing is convincing Rod that I do not deserve to break my own curse. Delora looks at me curiously for a few moments, and then she grins. I have an idea. If this is another terrible idea. Oh no, this one's much better. I'll stick around with you, you know, watch out for you. What? Delora, watch out for me? I really like her doll form. I don't think I've ever said that. I am surprised when Delora suddenly stands before me in her doll form. There's no way you and Rod are going to sort yourselves out without some kind of help, so I'll be tagging along. It's much easier when I'm travel-sized, Why do I feel like she's only making things worse? Come on then. Delora somehow manages to jump into the front pocket of my apron, which is thankfully large enough to fit her doll body. Let's go find us a prince and get ourselves back to the palace. Okay, chapter 4. I'm surprised I picked 2 of the good endings without knowing they were good endings. Or good choices for the 3rd chapter. Let's save. It's been more than a week since Rod and I returned to the Marchen. He has been avoiding me ever since that day. Not that we have much cause to be around each other nowadays. I'm constantly on my feet preparing for Emily's ball. This is ridiculous. Better to be busy than bored, princess. It is kinda odd that Delora is still a doll in our giant pocket. You would think someone would be like, hey, you can't just carry your doll around all day while you work. Unless this pocket's like really big and Delora can just kinda scooch down and hide. But then you have this giant bulge in your pocket, and that doesn't look right either. I stop for a moment to better balance the pile of fabrics that I am carrying. One of the maids has ordered me to bring this to a designated room so that it can be sorted out. I am being reduced to fetching and carrying. And I have made no progress on accomplishing my first good deed. I doubt that simply following orders from the other maids will help me get my first good deed. I feel a shuffling in my pocket and then notice Delora peeking her porcelain face out. Better to obey rather than disobey. At least you're not going to get a good deed being stubborn. Anyway, you've got to put yourself out there a bit more, princess. You can't just do whatever is convenient for you. That's no good. Delora has been no help at all. Wait, I recognize this place. Isn't this where your room is? I stop in front of a door to my old bedroom. Ever since I came here, I've been ignoring this room, not wanting to see what the king did to it during my absence. Do you not want to go in? Why should I? It's not as if it's my room anymore. Oh, you're no fun. Aren't you curious about how it's changed? I would be lying if I said that I wasn't. I guess a little peek would not hurt. I step into the room and close the door behind me. It's like stepping into the past. The room is exactly as I left it. It seems completely untouched. Moments later, Dolores standing before me in her human form. It looks like someone's been dusting in here. Strange, considering no one should remember who this room even belongs to. I glance around, my eyes wide. Everything looks the same. I put the fabrics that I am carrying down on my bed and make my way to the shelf where my dolls are displayed. My eyes pause on a specific doll. I never noticed. No. Oh. Okay, give me a sec. Right down here we have a little dollhouse and stuff. That's cute. This one wasn't here before. Dolores raises an eyebrow. Maybe you just don't remember that one because she isn't very memorable. You two have a lot of dolls after all. No, I know each of my dolls by name. This one is definitely new. I do like how Lucetta does name her dolls. That is the cute little fact. She looks very similar to the dolls I saw at Vairika's shop. I quickly turn around at the sound of the doorknob. My eyes move to Delora, but she has already turned into a doll and tucked herself into a corner of the shelf with the rest of my dolls. Emily stands in the doorway, eyeing me curiously. Lucetta, what are you doing here? I made a mistake and thought I was supposed to bring these fabrics here. I hope she doesn't see through my lie. Emily shakes her head, smiling. It's not your fault, Lucetta. You're still getting used to the palace and its many rooms. I get lost here all the time. I got lost here all the time when I first arrived too. This room is interesting though. Father expressly ordered that it be kept clean but otherwise undisturbed. Why would he say that? He wouldn't say why, but apparently this room is very special to him. Maybe it belongs to someone he cherished. Cherished? What a joke. Still, I can't help but feel hope in her suggestion. I don't think Father would like either of us being here. We should leave soon. I only came here to put a ribbon on one of the dolls. One of the dolls? Yes, I put one of my dolls here. She walks past me and she walks past me to pick up the doll I did not recognize. I bought this. I knew Emily always visited Vairika, but I did not think she liked dolls. She always preferred receiving and buying books, so why does she even have this doll? Do you like dolls? Well, I mean, I don't mind them, but I don't usually buy them for myself, no. So why did you buy this one? Emily looks at the doll with a sad smile and shakes her head. I'm not sure. I bought it as a gift. I remember that much. I was going to give it to someone who likes dolls. Someone I wanted to befriend. It will be cute if we have a interaction of her handing us the doll once we break our curse. I don't know why, but it feels right to leave the doll here until I can remember whom I was meant to give her to. Emily is silent for a moment before she turns to me with a bright smile. I know you have a delivery to make, but could you come with me to the palace entrance first? Mother is still busy talking with the cook, so the fabrics can wait. I resist the urge to glare at her. She better not be dragging me around to do yet more errands. I'm expecting a delivery and I might need your help. I thought so. I have no choice but to nod, of course. I begrudgingly follow Emily towards the entrance, and there I see the delivery carriage. A familiar person stands beside it. Vyrika. Emily pulls Vyrika into a tight hug. I turn my attention away to glare at the number of boxes at the back of the carriage. I will no doubt have to help carry them inside. How are the preparations for the ball coming? Emily's smile seems forced at first, but then eases into something softer. It's going well, I suppose. How about the wedding? Decamon and I have finalized the date. It will be 2 days after your ball. I can't wait to see you in your wedding dress. Those two always talk so much when they get together. It's almost like they're friends. I ignore their chatter as I walk up to the carriage to observe the boxes piled inside. What are in these boxes? Oh, Vyrika reaches out to grab one. She hands it to me. I am helping with the ball's decorations. I came by with part of the order today. Part of it. Careful, it's a bit heavy. I take the box from her hands and nearly stumble. This is heavy. Emily should have the male servants do this. Queen Ophelia placed quite a large order. I brought the more fragile decorations first. It is odd that it's a fragile decoration, but it's heavy. So it's either made out of really nice glass or porcelain. Oh, the glass baubles and vases. I grip my teeth as I shift the box in my arms in an attempt to make it easier to hold. I like how they don't explain, like, if this is a really tall box or anything. Because I imagine, like, just a normal size package, but just extremely heavy. But, like, as long as your arms are under the box, you're not gonna drop it. But she makes it seem like it's not just an average size box. Yes, but we also have aisle decorations specifically to party decorations. What kind of toy shop is that? Lucetta, will you be alright? I feel annoyance is simmering within me. I'm obviously not alright. Emily reaches out to help me with the box, but she is too late. I'm only taking one step forward when the box slides and I stumble. I managed to cradle it in my arms, but its weight is too much for me. See, like, if it's a normal size box, she wouldn't have, like, had an issue of it falling out of her arms. She would just have to, like, wobble to get it inside because it's too heavy. So this box must be oblong shaped. So it must be a vase inside this box if it's just shaped badly, for us to not be able to get a good grip on it. Before I hit the ground, I feel strong arms around my waist, pulling me back upright. The box is taken from me. See, that looks like a normal size box. My heart and mind are racing, and for a moment I cannot comprehend what just happened. Are you alright, Rod? I glance to the side and I'm shocked to see Rod standing there. The expression on his face gives nothing away. With our close distance, I can see some flicker of emotion in his bright eyes. Concern? Lucetta, I am so sorry. Are you okay? Rod pushes me and I stumble forward, almost tripping on the ground. He raises an eyebrow at me. Know your limits, Lucetta. I glare at him as anger begins to bubble up in my chest. We need to stay silent here. Apparently that's what I picked last time, which works. I clench my fists and take a deep breath to try to calm myself. I will not stoop to his level. He is the one being cruel here, not me. You shouldn't have stubbornly tried to carry something that was too heavy for you. I will not take responsibility if you get hurt. I mean, it's not your responsibility regardless. It's ours for being stupid trying to carry something we cannot carry. Rod, you shouldn't get angry with her for trying to help me. It was my fault for giving her something so heavy. Vyrika, what are you doing here? Rod's voice is still cold. Vyrika looks startled by his tone. I only came to deliver some of the decorations for the ball. And you thought Emily and her maid could carry these things on their own? Rod, this is not her fault. I am the one who chose to bring Lucetta with me. I underestimated the size of the delivery. Vyrika was just delivering the supplies. At least she admits her mistakes. I never thought Rod would be so stubborn. Emily's expression softens as she looks at her brother. She looks sad. Rod ignores her and picks up the box that I have been carrying. He begins to walk away before he suddenly stops and glances back at me. Come on, Rod. We're going to call some servants to carry these boxes in. He turns around and begins to walk away. I am Emily's personal maid, not his. I glance at Emily, who nods her head. I really am so sorry. Thank you for helping my brother, Lucetta. I curtsy ever so slightly before running after Rod. I'm surprised she hasn't gotten, disciplined for her very obviously very lack of respect. Just barely nods, just barely curtsies. Rod, wait. He picks up his pace as if trying to lose me. I turn the corner and barely stop myself from running right into Rod's back. What now? Why are you so angry at me today? I have barely even spoken to you. Your mere presence is enough to darken my mood. I glare at him and cross my arms. Funny, you call me cruel, but right now, you are worse than I ever was. I don't need someone who hasn't even managed a single good deed to lecture me. I have to try very hard to resist the urge to slap him. You were supposed to help me get a good deed. As I said before, I never agreed to this. I still refuse to help you. Rod starts walking again, and I hurry after him. I cannot help recall how cold he was with Vyrika earlier. I thought they were friends, but he treated her like this at the toy shop too. Why were you so angry with Vyrika earlier? No reason. I raise an eyebrow. When Rod quickly answers the question, then you were cold for no reason. You have such a princely disposition. Rod frowns, but there is no rebuttal for his words. You must be generally cold and unfriendly. Excuse me? That would explain why you treated Vyrika as you did. I had thought that you two were childhood friends. Vyrika was always closer with Emily than with me. We may have been friendly once, but we've since become distant. Distant? It is none of your business. I pause as we pass by my door. Remembering that I left both the fabrics and Delora inside, I make my way towards the door and open it. What are you doing? None of your business. Enjoy your field trip. I frown when I see her sitting on my bed in human form. What would you have done if it wasn't me? Us witches have a sense for these things. Delora? Rod slowly enters the room. It's nice to see you here, Lady Delora. Nice to see you too, little Sabby. Why are you here? Delora shrugs as she inspects her nails. I do like her pink nail polish. It is a nice touch. I thought I would help the princess here since someone didn't seem very willing. Rod furrows his eyebrows at her. I didn't. Yes, I know. You didn't sign up for this. But do you really think you have a choice, Rod? Delora looks at Rod pointedly. You know the consequences if this fails. Rod looks away, expression conflicted. Consequences? What are you talking about? Consequences for not helping me with my curse? Rod sighs heavily before turning back to Delora. He does not pay attention to me. I am not the right person for this. Doesn't matter what you think the princess thought you were, so suck it up and do your job. Rod is silent for a few moments before he finally faces me, looking resigned. I will help you then, but don't expect me to change my opinions of you. I shrug at him. It's not like I was expecting you to in the first place. Delora grins with clear triumph. Good talk. Rod sighs. In order to achieve your good deeds, you're going to need to mend what you broke first. I feel I already know what he's going to say. My sister has always wanted to be your friend, so you must do just that. Show her kindness and you may be able to get your first deed through her. Show her kindness, huh? Delora decides to stay in my room for the time being, saying that she believes Rod will be able to help me from now on. Later, I make my way to the dining room with the fabrics and see Emily and Ophelia inside. Lucetta. I see you have the fabrics, thank you. Ophelia takes the topmost sample of fabric and begins to inspect it as Emily walks up to me. Where's Rod? He's returned to his studies. Oh, right. He has history lessons today, and I am yet to finish my history homework, which is due tomorrow. As Emily muses aloud, I ponder what Rod told me earlier. I must become Emily's friend, but is that really a good deed? I hope Rod doesn't send the servants out before he walks back to his room. What? I wanted to tell him that Vyrika and I had already called on guards to bring the boxes inside. Which is stupid because that is not a guard's job. They're there to guard, not to help move things like a maid or a servant would. Maybe he decided to start his lessons early so that he could make your dance lessons this evening. Dance lessons? Father wanted to hire the best dance instructor in Angelia, but I honestly feel more comfortable with Rod teaching me. He's a good dancer, so Father had allowed it. That is a surprise. I didn't know Rod could dance. He used to prefer singing, but then Ophelia trails off. I know she is talking about the fairy tale curse, but I do not expect her to divulge such information to a maid like myself. He decided to focus on his dancing for the past few months. Ophelia glances down at the fabrics, then looks up and smiles at me. Lucetta, would you mind helping me with this? I obediently walked over to the fabrics Ophelia wanted me to look through. They are apparently samples for the tablecloth that will be used during the ball. This is going to be a long day. Rod comes immediately to the throne room after his history lessons to start on his dance lessons with Emily. I'm only standing here because it is my responsibility as her personal maid to watch over her as she practices. I watch as she steps out of rhythm and Rod sighs at her. You're doing it wrong. That's the 10th time. I'm sorry. Again. They start from the beginning, and I am unable to stifle my own sigh when Emily messes up the same step again. Actually, we're going to just skip to the next choice, because all this is just them arguing back and forth between her dancing badly. And we need to refuse. Yeah. I don't think that's what we did last time. Okay. Even if I do agree, I doubt Rod would even want to dance with me. Let us actually save. You cannot learn how to dance by watching someone. You have to practice the steps yourself. But if you need a break, just say so, No, really, I find it easier to learn through visuals. Sorry for making you uncomfortable, Lucetta. Let's just continue our practice, Rod. Emily smiles at me, but it is obvious that she looks more disheartened now. Rod looks at his sister before shaking his head. He turns to walk towards me. He holds out his hand. Would you dance with me? What? Rod leans closer to me and speaks in a low voice. Play along. This is just for Emily. He's actually curious about your dancing, princess. I am surprised when Sabby suddenly whispers to me. I can tell it is Sabby by the change in the pitch of his voice. I'm glad they finally said this. That Sabby speaking is the handwriting text instead of this normal font. But it is odd that they decide to put it in the good route instead of just something that they have regardless of the choices you pick. Oops. Sorry, Rod. Rod glares at Sabby before looking at me again. Well, I shift my gaze to Emily, who is practically beaming. I sigh and take Rod's hand. I know Emily does not like treating me as maid, but this is a little too much. Fine, just this once. And then they dance to show Emily how to dance. So we're going to skip to the next choice. Oh, and Emily dances. She does a good job. Then they retire for the night. Lucetta finds Emily in the dining room working on silverware placement, and she's doing it wrong. So we need to give her the correct answers. And I'm pretty sure that's what we did last time. Okay. The flute is for champagne, the other is for sherry. Oh, right. But here are two more. That one is for juice and the other one is for dessert wine. The dessert wine glass will only be used during the dessert course, and the juice glass is only used when juice is being served as a course. Otherwise, it's placed next to the wine goblet. I see Rod staring at me out of the corner of his eyes. His lips twitch before he turns back to his sister. It looks like he was about to smile. Then what are these for? Emily points to the group of forks in front of her. You use those every day, Your Highness. You should know the answer. Emily points to them as she rattles off names. Dinner fork, fish fork, salad. Correct. You know so much about etiquettes, too. You're really incredible, Lucetta. You make a better noblewoman than I do. Even if I told her I was a noble, it's not as if she would believe me. I just read a lot about all of these things. You read and know enough to put them into practice? That's amazing. Especially since you haven't been with us so long. Right, Rod? Rod shrugs. He does not, much to my surprise, disagree. Perhaps you should be my teacher, Lucetta. I can learn so quickly from you. Emily quickly straightens out the cutlery. Now that I think about it, I have come to realize that Emily is much more than she appears to be. It is probably because I am forced to spend so much time with her as her maid. She is different, she is flawed, and not as conceited and more humble than I had originally thought. Maybe I should try lending her a hand. I may not be one of your tutors, but if you need help with your lessons, just ask me and I will do what I can for you. Lucetta. I glance at Rod, who is once again wearing that expression of surprise. I shift my attention to Emily once again. You only have 1 month left to prepare, and as your personal maid, I feel it is my responsibility to help you in whatever way I can. Lucetta. Emily wipes her eyes with the back of her hand, and that's when I notice something glistening on her cheeks. Is she crying? You are extremely kind, Lucetta. Thank you. I will definitely take you up on that offer. I'm still looking at Emily when I catch a faint glow coming from the pendant on my chest. What just happened? Oh, what a pretty necklace you have, Lucetta. Thank you. Anyway, for now, I think the both of us would benefit with some sleep. After escorting Emily back to her room, I walk out into the hallway in a daze. What was that light? It seems like you actually managed to obtain your first good deed. I didn't know he was still here. I look down at my pendant, astonished at what I see. A piece of the glass slipper. I gingerly touch the new piece that is hanging next to my existing glass slipper pendant, which is odd. Like, if it's a pair of slippers on her necklace and one of them's just gone and will slowly grow back as we do good deeds. Wow, that was hard apparently. Then why isn't the photo of the necklace of a slipper and our extra pieces? It is real. You're not too bad after all. Did he just compliment me? What? Rod turns away. Nothing. He walks away, leaving me alone with my thoughts. Chapter 5, I think. Chapter 5. Oh yeah, this is us. Having a maid that wanted to be our friend as a kid. But before we get into this, I need the bathroom, so I will be right back. woke up from your nap. Okay, we're going to just, reload where we were. Good morning, Your Highness. Would you like to play with us? You want to play with me? Yeah, come play with us. We all have, well, had lots of fun. Well, please, just for a little while. Maybe I can. Lucetta, what are you doing in front of the gates? Mother, good morning, Your Highness. We were just wondering if the princess wants to come play with us. This cat sometimes. No, Princess Lucetta does not want to play with you, but Mother, I do. Enough idle chatter. We must go. It is almost time for your dance lessons, but Lucetta, don't make me repeat myself. Yes, Mother. It is still dawn when I wake up. As much as I want to continue sleeping, I have no choice but to get up and prepare for the day. The last thing I need is an annoying lecture from the head maid. I've almost become accustomed to waking up this early, even if I do not enjoy it. As soon as my preparations are made, I begin to make my way towards Emily's room, should she wake up early. I'm about halfway there when I hear familiar voices. Standing far ahead of me are Sir Alacaster and Sir Mythos. Are you sure this is going to work? Have a little faith in me, my friend. Friend, we're not friends. Sir Alacaster narrows his eyes, then turns abruptly to look at me. Ah, Miss Lucetta, was it? Sir Mythos, Sir Alacaster. Have you been eavesdropping, child? He has no reason to be angry at me. If they were talking about something confidential, they should not have been openly talking about it in the hallway. I am on my way to Princess Emily's room, sir. And this is why I am here. I coolly look at Sir Alacaster, who looks at me like he's about to pop a vein. I cannot help but feel satisfied at his reaction. In just a few steps, he is suddenly looming over me. I've never seen Sir Alacaster look so angry before. What's going on? Rod is now walking towards us with a scowl on his face. Sir Alacaster notices this and quickly steps back. There was just a little misunderstanding, Your Highness. Rod glances at me, eyes narrowing. Great, I'm sure he's going to blame me for this too, even though I did nothing. Much to my surprise, Rod puts himself between me and Sir Alacaster. Are you alright, Lucetta? He is worried about me. I slowly nod. Rod turns back to Sir Alacaster and Sir Mythos. If you don't have any business with Lucetta, I will be taking her with me. Emily is already waiting for her. Sir Alacaster stares at me for a few moments before bowing to Rod. Of course, Your Highness. Thank you. Rod turns to me again, his expression solemn. Shall we? He walks off before waiting for my reply. I look back at Sir Alacaster and Sir Mythos one last time before chasing after him. The both of us spend the next few minutes walking in silence. Rod has not said a thing since my encounter with Sir Mythos and Sir Alacaster. Are you okay? What? He already asked me that before. Is he really that worried? I'm fine. I'm surprised by the look on Rod's face and at my response. His expression is soft. So unlike his usual scowl, Rod here is pretty worried about you, princess. Rod glares at Sabby, his cheeks tinged pink. Sabby chuckles. Sorry, Rod, your thoughts ring so loudly in your mind that I can't help but say them aloud. This is not the first time Sabby had told me about what Rod is thinking. Rod reaches out and pinches Sabby's face, his scowl returning. Ow, ow, ow. I'm sorry, okay? Next time, try not to think so loudly. You said that Emily was waiting for me. I did not expect her to be up so early. Where is she? I lied. What? He lied to help me out of that situation? Why are you helping me? Because while you're here, you are my responsibility. I may loathe the role, but I will still uphold it. Besides, you don't need a reason to help someone in need. Help someone in need. I remember Parfait and Delora telling me before that being good often involves helping others who are in need. Now that I have helped you, I'll be taking my leave now. I have fencing lessons to attend. Rod starts to walk off, but then stops and turns back to me. Don't get yourself into more trouble. I won't be there I won't be there all the time to save you. I glare at him and cross my arms. I am not some damsel in distress, your highness. I do not need your help. Rod snorts before turning away from me and walking away. Later that day, I watch Emily finish her etiquette lessons. I can tell that the teacher is impressed with her progress. Emily is about to correctly name all the glasses and cutlery. She's not so slow a learner. I had come here earlier in the day to better teach Emily about proper dining etiquettes. Turns out that my lessons were valuable. You have shown a great improvement, your highness. I am glad that you've been diligent with your studies. No doubt you'll be ready for the ball soon. Emily smiles, her cheeks turning pink. Thank you. I wouldn't have done it without the help of a friend. Emily glances at me briefly and smiles gently. I really owe her a lot. Oops, sorry. Yeah, sorry. That is wonderful. I'm so glad you have such a dedicated friend, your highness. Friend? Is that really what I am to her? But princesses do not have maids as friends. A royal does not mingle with the commoners, especially not with servants. Mother told me that before. Emily does not treat me as a maid, but she cannot possibly think of me as a friend. After the teacher gives Emily several books to study for their next lesson, she ends the lesson and excuses herself. Emily approaches me and grasps my hands. Thank you so much, Lucetta. I wouldn't have passed without your help. All I did was repeat the things your teacher taught you. But you're different. I raise an eyebrow at her. Different. I tend to get nervous in my lesson. My teachers are strict and intimidating. I cave beneath the pressure. But with you, well, I feel more comfortable around you. It's probably because we're almost the same age, and your lessons feel more casual. So thank you. I'm very grateful to you. She looks down at the ground shyly. I hope it's alright that we're friends. I furrow my eyebrows at her. Why would you even want to be friends with a maid? You're supposed to be making friends with the nobles, not the servants. Emily frowns, and I can feel her deflate. She walks towards the window and sighs. I tried. They may not say anything, but I can feel them silently judging me. I wasn't born a princess, and I feel that they judge everything that I do. You can't stand in the doorway. You either come in or stay out. No, come here. Hello. Come here. Oh, there we go. Can we just do this? They think I smile too much and I'm not regal enough. They feel that I'm too clumsy or too cheerful. I really miss being a normal girl. I miss my freedom. I look at her thoughtful. I think I can understand what Emily is feeling. Just like me, she was thrown into a world she was not ready to be a part of. Right now, we have no choice but to fit in. She never wanted my title in the first place, yet I accuse her of stealing it. Have you told your mother how you feel? Well, maybe if you didn't have a knot, we wouldn't have this issue, kitty. Stay. Whoops, sorry. Did not mean to just punch the microphone. Emily shakes her head. No, not the king either. I don't want them thinking I'm ungrateful. That's why I'm trying my best to become accustomed to all of this. I cross my arms. But you are not happy. I'm not. Everyone just assumes that I'm happy because I smile a lot. She barely opens up to anyone, and yet she opened up to me. Have I been given the choice before I was cursed? I would have never listened to her. You should tell them how you feel rather than just keeping it to yourself. Otherwise, the stress will continue to accumulate on your shoulders. I wish I could be more honest with them. I really do. I envy you for being able to speak your mind. She envies me. Emily takes a deep breath and sighs. The frown fades with the sigh and is quickly replaced by a fragile smile. I'm sorry for ranting to you like this. I must have bored you with my story. I used to get so annoyed with her, but now that I've seen this side of her, I suppose she is not as terrible as I had first thought. Oh, I remembered that Mother wanted to see me after my lessons today. Allow me to escort you to the Queen, then. Thank you. I don't know if my microphone's picking it up, but can you hear him purr? Here, I'll bring it closer. Oh, goodbye. Fuzz everywhere now. Yeah, fuzz butt. So much fuzz on you. Okay. Days pass without any real conflict. I run into Sir Alacaster again in the hallways, but his eyes pass over me as if I'm something to be ignored. Delora, who has been ignoring me as she has been busy with other priorities, returned to the margin yesterday to discuss something important with Parfait. It's not as if she has been any help. She mostly stayed in my room while I ran around doing errands for Emily and taking on other chores as they are handed to me. Right now, I'm heading to the palace gates as I hurry to meet Emily. She's going out to town to meet Vairika again, and I was told to meet her there. Prince Lucetta. I turn around to see Fritz walking in my direction. Ever since I told him to refer to me by my name, he has been stumbling over not using my title. I rarely see him, but when I do, we do not have much time to discuss anything. Can I help you with anything, Fritz? It's been a while. Have you managed to complete one of your good deeds? Days after I originally ran into Fritz, I managed to have a quick conversation with him regarding my curse. It had been so long. It has been a long time since that conversation happened. Recently, I have barely seen Fritz. I hear rumors that he's been reassigned somewhere outside of the palace. I show him my pendant and point at the piece of the second glass slipper. I managed to get one several days ago. Lucetta, that's wonderful. I knew you could get one. Only 2 more, and then I break this curse. Ah, Fritz, Miss Lucetta, I did not think the two of you were acquainted. We both turn our head at the same time when Mythos suddenly appears from around the corner, the usual smile on his lips. Sir Mythos? Fritz, I believe Sir Alacaster is looking for you. Right, sorry, Lucetta. I must take my leave now, of course. Fritz bows to Sir Mythos before walking off, leaving me alone with Sir Mythos. Mythos does not say anything, but continues to smile at me. His staring makes me feel incredibly uncomfortable. Is there something on my face? Excuse me. I curtsy and walk off when Sir Mythos calls my name. Lucetta. Yes? I just wanted to thank you for your hard work and dedication to our princess. I look at him puzzled about his sudden gratitude. Don't worry, everything will soon be remended. Excuse me? My apologies, I did not mean to keep you. He completely ignores my question. He dips his head slightly before turning and walking away, the smile still on his face. What was that all about? Rod and Emily are already waiting for me outside the carriage by the time I arrive at the palace gates. Rod has his arms crossed and looks at me irritable. His face is preemptively stuck in a scowl, it seems. You are late. My apologies. You're so grumpy, but you've been late many times before too, Rod. Rod just shrugs his shoulders as he turns and heads into the carriage. Emily sighs before looking at me. Shall we? Of course. The 3 of us sit in silence as the carriage rolls towards the town. The knight assigned to guard duty is sitting out front with the driver, watching for any disturbances. Emily glances forlornly out one of the windows while Rod suddenly looks out the other as he rests his chin on the palm of his hands. I notice Emily pausing to glance at Rod every now and then, looking restless. Finally, she breaks the silence. Are you still mad that I asked you to come along to visit Vairika? You could have declined the invitation, Rod, and if you would only tell me what happened between the 2 of you, I would do my best to remedy the situation. Rod notices me looking at him and scowls. He returns his moody gaze to the window. I have nothing to say, Em, but you used to be good friends with Vairika too, Rod, but then ever since you were... Emily stops herself, but I know that she is referring to his curse. After that day, you've been keeping your distance from her. Then, when you found out about the wedding, you became even colder towards her. Even Vairika is worried about you, Rod. She worries that she might have offended you somehow. Emily. There's a hint of warning in his tone. Is it possible that Vairika is related to Rod's curse, considering the timing? Emily opens her mouth again to say something, but then suddenly stops and returns to the window, her expression mirroring Rod's own gloom. We are all silent until we arrive at the toy shop. Emily, good to see you again, and you too, Lucetta, was it? I nod in acknowledgement. Vairika nods politely at the knight, who stands guard at the shop door. It's just the two of you today? Emily and I both turn around, only to see that Rod has indeed vanished. Emily frowns, looking both bewildered and disappointed. He was right behind us. I will go look for him. Thank you, Lucetta. Just as I expected, Rod is leaning against the wall of an alley just outside the toy shop. This time we need to just stay with him. I can tell by Rod's stiff posture that anything I say to him will fall on deaf ears, so I move to stand next to him instead. I lean against the wall with him. What are you doing? Keeping you company. Rod raises an eyebrow at me. Since when have you ever liked my company? Well, I'd rather be here than stay inside the toy shop and listen to Emily and Vairika talk. So you're not here to try to get me to talk? Well, it's not as if you would answer any of my questions. I've tried forcing you to talk and know how ineffective it is. But I will be here if you do want to talk. Rod eyes me suspiciously. Since when did you start listening to others? When you are the personal maid of someone who enjoys talking, you learn to listen. Emily has been happier these past few months. I hate to admit it, but it seems it is because of you. Are you actually praising me? Rod looks away, his cheeks tinted pink. Think whatever you would like. I do not know why, but for some reason I am happy that Rod gave me a compliment. Princess Lucetta. Rod and I turned to the sound of the familiar voice. Waltz pauses in front of us with a bright smile. It's nice to see you again, Princess. Waltz, what are you doing here? Well, I was about to deliver a letter to the prince, but I guess that won't be necessary anymore. A letter? Is Lady Parfait asking for me? Not just you, she wants to see the princess as well. Me. It's been a while since I was last at the Marchen. Is something wrong? They need to discuss something important with the princess. Come to the Marchen tonight. Tonight? But we're already here, so why not now? Waltz's eyes shift to our carriage. You are here with Princess Emily, yes? You can't make her wait too long. Well, they need to discuss with you is complicated and will take some time to explain. The toy shop door opens and Emily stands in the doorway as she says her goodbyes to Vairika. Remember, tonight. Those are Waltz's last words before he slips back into the crowd. Emily's visit with Vairika was briefer than I thought it would be, but now all of us are heading back to the palace. Rod has not uttered a word on our way back, and I can tell that this is making Emily agitated as she continues to glance at Rod expectantly. Can you stop coming in and out? No, do not just meow at me. If you have something to say, say it. Emily stares at me. You obviously want to say something to Prince Rod. The only way to get your answers is to ask him directly. Rod does not turn around, as it is as if he does not hear us. Emily clasps her hands and says, well, she glances at Rod, who still persistently stares at the window. His eyes focus on nothing. He's pretending not to hear us. How immature. Rod. Vairika was sad that you weren't here today. She was certain that you stayed outside to avoid seeing her. What is going on with you? I'm not in the mood to answer your questions, Em. Emily grips the edges of her dress, her expression becoming rigid. I don't know what you want, Kat. Don't just meow at me, please. There we go. You've been keeping secrets from us ever since you were cursed. We don't even know why you were cursed or how to help break it. Wait, the rest of the family doesn't know anything about the circumstances of Rod's curse? I thought he told them everything, but all they know is that he is cursed? We're a family. We're supposed to help each other through... What? We're supposed to help each other through problems. This cat. Go lay down. You don't need anything. God. Emily's hands are shaking as she glares at her brother. The carriage stops, and as soon as the servant opens the door, Emily quickly steps out and rushes back towards the palace. Rod watches her go quietly, though his eyebrows are furrowed and he looks guilty. I silently shake my head at him before running after Emily. Emily stands in the hallway with her hands to her chest. She breathes slowly in and out as if she is on the verge of tears. When she notices me behind her, she turns away and wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. I'm sorry for storming off like that. I was just very frustrated, Rod. I said something I shouldn't have said back there. If anyone finds out about this, they won't. Your secret is safe with me. Emily flashes me with a grateful smile before looking at the sky. One moment, Rod is running down the hallway. The next, he has stopped in front of us and is trying to catch his breath. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry too. Of course. I'm sorry, Lucetta, but could you leave me alone for now? She does not even wait for my answer before walking away, leaving me alone with Rod. You made her cry, Rod. I am fully aware of that. Why are you hiding your curse from your family? You wouldn't understand. I'm doing this to protect them. Protect them. Rod silently shakes his head. They wouldn't understand. Those are the last ominous words Rod speaks before rushing off, leaving me alone in the hallway. What happened to him? The hallways are silent as at this time of night, as most everyone is in the palace preparing for bed. I'm now on my way to our meeting place. Rod told me earlier to wait for him here. I had thought that he would make me go to the march-in by myself after what transpired with Emily, but I was wrong. Emily was so upset today. I've never seen her like this before. I turn my thoughts back to the march-in and what Waltz had said earlier. I wonder what Parfait wants to talk to us about. I feel my heart beating erratically against my chest. Why do I feel like something bad is going to happen? I realize that I've been standing in the open for a while. Perhaps I should move. People might find me standing here suspicious. I start walking again and am surprised when I feel a hand close around my wrist and pull me into the darkness. I open my mouth, but a hand muffles my scream. Shh. Rod? Rod's gaze is icy. He speaks quietly, but I can feel the anger simmering underneath his words. What if someone saw you just standing there? Have you ever thought about how that might be suspicious? His tone is so accusatory that for a moment I cannot find my voice, but then he is right. I should have been more careful. Sorry. Rod stares at me, surprised. What? I never thought I'd hear you apologize, especially to me. Oh, well, at least I know how to apologize, unlike you. And why would I ever have a reason to apologize to you? Because you've done nothing but treat me coldly, even when I have done nothing. Even when I've done nothing to personally attack you. Rod scowls at me, but does not say anything. Instead, he says and takes my hand, pulling me after him. What? Let's go before the guards see us. I have no energy to argue with Rod, so I allow him to pull me along. I'm sorry. What? He apologized to me? Don't make me repeat myself. I did not hear you clearly. There's one thing I know about you. It's that you're not deaf. Of course I'm not. Shh. Someone will hear you. I glare at Rod, but he does not respond. Princess, your hand is really warm. Rod freezes in place and glares at Sabby, who seems to be shrugging. Your thoughts are too loud, Rod. Through the dim lights, I can actually see a faint blush on Rod's cheeks. You are blushing. I am not. He lets go of my hand and starts to walk towards the secret passage, with me trailing behind him. We look around to make sure no one is in sight before we both slip inside. I follow closely behind Rod in silence, my eyes moving upwards to the little bunny plush hanging on his shoulder. Sabby, I've been wondering, have you ever talked with Rod's family as yourself? Rod suddenly stops and scowls over his shoulders at me. What? I'm asking Sabby, not you. No, I don't, Princess. Rod doesn't want me to talk with others since he thinks that I might say something unnecessary. So much for that. You still speak even when it is unnecessary. In the dim lighting of the tunnel, I can see a faint pink in Rod's cheeks, but it is probably a trick of the strange lighting. Rod is right. Sabby has blurted out his thoughts more than a number of times. And we are picking... You're not doing a very good job. Sabby sighs. How can I not when Rod hears thinking too loudly? It makes my head ache. You get headaches? That's not the point. The point is that when he thinks on something too long, his head becomes cloudy and really full, like it's going to explode. That is why I got to explain for him. He's not good at expressing himself. He's not good at expressing his thoughts, so Rod cuts Sabby off by pinching his cheeks. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, I'll stop talking now. Rod sighs and continues walking. Rod, have you ever spoken with Emily since that earlier incident? No. As much as I want to ask him about the curse, I doubt he will divulge anything right now. I decide to keep my thoughts to myself as we head for the march-in. when we arrive at the margin, Parfait and Delora are there to welcome us. The others, however, are nowhere in sight. It's been a while, Princess. Thank you for bringing her here safely, Prince Rod. Where is everyone? They're all resting in their rooms now. It wasn't necessary that they were here for what Delora and I want to discuss with you. I will be staying in the tavern then. Rod is about to head for the tavern when Delora stops him. You don't have to leave. What we're going to say involves you too, since you're staying at the palace as well. Rod looks at her curiously, but says no questions. Parfait and Delora gestures us over to the settee where we all take our seats. This is something Rod and I must know because we're in the palace. I have a bad feeling about this. Before we start, I would like to congratulate you on your first good deed, Princess. Delora told me all about it, and I can see the extra piece on your necklace as well. Parfait smiles as her eyes fill with pride. Her faith in me rekindles the dwelling confidence I had. If only you'd seen how happy Delora was when she announced it to us. You don't have to go into specifics, Parfait. Oh, are you embarrassed, Delora? She smiles at Delora teasingly before turning back to me. Anyway, I know you could do it, Princess. Only 2 more to go, and you can break your curse. Yeah, keep up the good work, Princess, and you too, Rod. So, what is it that you wanted to discuss with us? I conducted a little investigation while I was with Lucetta in the palace and found out something important. I discovered that there is a witch in the palace. A witch in the palace? I felt a tinge of magic while I was there. It was faint, but it was definitely there. I don't remember feeling it before when I was there as your doll, Princess. It seems that the witch is using a glamour to hide himself or herself from us. A glamour is a magic that only very experienced witches can cast, which means the witch we are dealing with is no ordinary witch. They have the potential to be very powerful, but what would a witch be doing in the palace in the first place? This witch could be after the king, but what? Parfait and Delora glance at each other, looking conflicted. It is Parfait who faces me first, her expression grave. I'm afraid there is some other possibility we must make you aware of, Princess, and in order for us to explain we must give you the truth. Chapter 6. I don't... I think what we're going to do is skip this because this is just a repeat of them telling us that our mother was the Tenebrium bear, and it's not a interesting story, and we are like, no, that can't be right. Cat. This cat sometimes. There is nothing for you. Going to yell at others will give you nothing too. And so we get upset. We head back to the palace to see if we can talk to the king, see if it's all true. I don't remember what this was all about, though. this is us. This is us, accusing Rod for not wanting to be our partner because of what our mother did. But we can read this. I cannot help but feel drenched beneath the weight of that gaze. If you're going to tell me that you never wanted me to be your partner because of my mother was a witch, then I wasn't going to say that. What? I won't lie. The first time I saw you, I thought you were like your mother. Excuse me. You were cold and harsh and selfish. I never wanted to have anything to do with you. That was why I was so against this partnership, but you've changed. Rod's expression softens. As you and Em have grown closer, I have seen that you are not like your mother. She speaks fondly of you, and I can tell she really enjoys your company. That's why, even if I do not have plans to break my curse, I will still do what I can to help you break yours. And that's the least I can do as your partner. I stare at Rod in shock. This is the first time he has ever been so nice to me. Why are you staring at me like that? I'm only doing this because you're important to my sister. Rod turns away, his face beat red. Liar. Rod reaches up to pinch Sabby's face. Ow. We need to compliment him. Who would have thought you were actually capable of being nice? What's that? Was that supposed to be a compliment? Yes, you were always so grumpy. I don't even think I've ever seen a genuine smile on your face before. I can say the same for you. Birds of a feather flock together then. Rod stares at me dumbfounded. I cannot help but smile a little at his expression. Do you really dislike the fact that we are so similar? Rod is staring at me wide-eyed. You just smiled. I did not. Rod thinks your smile is pretty. I do not. You two really are the same. I take a deep breath to calm the erratic beating of my heart. Anyway, I still want to help you with your curse, Rod. Why do you refuse to break it? Rod stares down at his feet, expression melancholy. Because I cannot. Rod stops and shakes his head. He says nothing else, and I do not probe him anymore, especially not after seeing the distant look on his face. We walk through the corridors and back to our rooms after we say our goodbyes. I wonder what Rod was going to say. Mother, look, Eleanor got me this gift. Eleanor. She's my maid and my friend. Princesses don't make friends with their servants, but she's really nice. She even taught me how to braid my hair like those servants are only nice to you because you are the princess. They only pretend to be your friends so that they have power over you. But Eleanor would never... What reason do I have to lie to you? When have I ever lied to you, little one? You've never lied to me. That is correct. Tomorrow, I will remedy this situation. I will hire a new maid. You are not to befriend this one no matter what she says. But mother, are you arguing with me, Lucetta? No, I'm sorry, mother. I think we're going to finish up chapter 6 and then call it for the day and then do the last like 4 chapters next week. Because so far, I've picked the good ending for most of these choices. So it must have been the very last few chapters I picked the bad ending choices. it looks like. I'm pretty sure all of chapter 6 I chose the bad endings, so that's probably how I got the bad ending. It's been days since Parfait and Delora revealed my mother's true identity and the inevitable responsibility I am to have on my shoulders once I turn 18. I have been trying to ask the king about Mother, but he's even busier than these days than he was before, and it is impossible to find a single moment in the day to speak with him. The fact that I am a maid makes it even harder to garner his attention. When I am not on break, I continue to do my duties serving Emily. Right now, I'm accompanying her as she practices her walk and posture. This is all just asking Queen Ophelia if everything we learned at the Marchant was true. And then Emily having a hard time with her posture lessons. Emily dismisses me after her lessons, and I begin to head immediately back to my room. I just turn the corner when I notice Sir Allicaster standing before me, scowling. Watch where you're going, child. I quickly avert my gaze, not wanting a confrontation. He always looks at me so strangely, almost like he can see into my mind, or is it trying to? My apologies, Sir Allicaster. Sir Allicaster nods his head at me stiffly before walking off. You are pardoned, princess. I turned to stare after him, but he has already turned the corner. My blood runs cold. Was that just a slip of the tongue? But how else could he know that I am the princess? Could it be possible that he is cursed? No, somehow that doesn't seem right, but if he does not have the fairy tale curse, could he be the witch that Delora warned me about? What reason would he have for unveiling his true identity then, unless he just wants to intimidate me further? It occurs to me that Fritz still remembers who I am. Did he tell his father about me? Now I'm even more confused about whom I should trust. Lucetta. I jump when I hear Rod call me. His expression slowly creases with something that looks like worry. You're pale. Did something happen? Would he believe me if I told him? We need to tell him. Sir Allicaster knows that I'm the princess. Do you think he is the witch Delora was talking about? I whisper the words to him, and he responds by raising his eyebrows, looking surprised. What makes you say that? This is not just because of the standoffish way he acts, is it? You don't believe me. Rod sighs. I never said that I didn't. It's just that we can't blindly accuse someone without any real proof. Rod stares at me for a few moments, then closes his eyes, his eyebrows slightly furrowed with thought. Sir Fitzgerald also remembers who you are. I do not want to be suspicious of Fritz, but I don't think blindly trusting him would be right either, given the circumstance. You need to stay vigilant around him, and if anything happens, you can come talk to me about it. You're worried about me. Rod averts his gaze from me. Of course I am. Wow, you're actually being honest. What? Rod glares at Sabby before pinching his cheeks. Anyway, I'm leaving now. I have a dance to practice for. Dance? But you already know how to dance. What would you have left to practice? Rod does not answer and only walks away. I decide to follow after him. Why did you follow me? I shrug. I want to see you practice. To be honest, I want to see him dance. I already know that Emily is very clumsy when it comes to dancing, but outside of the one practice with Emily, I have never seen Rod dance. Emily always gloats on his behalf, but I have yet to witness Rod's supposed talent with my own eyes. Our dance together was so short, I barely had any time to judge him. I do not practice with an audience. Why? It is my preference. Rod is easily embarrassed. Rod groans and pinches one of Sabby's cheeks, glowering. Glowering. Sorry. Rod relentlessly releases the bunny with a sigh. I notice you've been talking more lately, Sabby. Oh, that's because Rod here has been saying things that contradict what he thinks or feels. Sabby makes a sound of defeat as Rod once again pinches one of his cheeks. Rod stares at me with wide eyes as I stare back, beginning to panic. What's wrong? You smiled again. I put a hand to my mouth, flustered. I am smiling again? I never even noticed. It was a pretty smile, Princess, right, Rod? Rod quickly turns away, cheeks slightly pink. I need to practice now, so I would appreciate you leaving. He did not even command me to leave. What a surprise. Emily said you were a really good dancer. I want to see it with my own eyes. Why? So you can judge me? And we need to pick, I am sure, that I am a better dancer than you. The scowl on Rod's face deepens. I almost smirk. Maybe he is reluctant to show me, but Rod is also full of pride. He is more likely to show me if I pose a challenge. You didn't even answer the question. And are you underestimating my dancing? The others may have forgotten, but you still remember, do you not? I am a princess, and was taught by the kingdom's best instructors. I say the words with pride, and I notice Rod's lips twitch in response. It actually makes me feel accomplished to get under Rod's skin when he is usually the one getting under mine. Having the best instructor does not automatically make you the best dancer. I am pretty confident with my own skills. Say what you want, but I will refuse to believe you without any proof. I still say that I am a better dancer than you are. Rod steps forward and pulls me suddenly into his arms, taking me by surprise. He looks at me, clearly determined. Fine, then. You'll have your proof. I'll make you swallow those words with this dance. We shall see. Rod starts leading the dance. He glides us into the imaginary rhythm of a waltz. Even without the music, I am able to count the steps in my head as I follow his lead. This is different from the short dance we showed Emily. Rod's movements are graceful, his touch gentle as he leads me in an underarm twirl. When I come to face him once again, I notice the gentle way he stares at me. The usual hardness of his expression is gone, melted in something relaxed. I find myself staring back at him, looking into his eyes. Perhaps Rod does have some gentleness to him. Our gaze does not break as he twirls me. You have beautiful eyes. Rod's eyes widen as soon as mine do. He abruptly lets go of my hand and steps back. I can only stare at him, my face warm. That wasn't me this time. That was more than a thought, I swear. Rod says nothing, though his cheeks continue to darken with embarrassment. Oh my. Rod and I turn to look at Emily, who is hovering by the door. Excuse me. Rod quickly walks through the doorway and out into the hallway, leaving Emily and I alone in the room. What just happened? That was a wonderful dance, Lucetta. You were watching? I only just saw the last few minutes, but you know, the two of you really did look like a couple. It was sweet. A couple? Oh, you're blushing. I put a hand to my cheek and turn away with a scowl. I am not. Besides, whatever just happened was embarrassing. Do you like Rod? I stare at her. I do not. Also, you have forgotten that I am a maid who could not be with the prince even if I wanted to. He is grumpy and cold. And even though we are not blood related, he is still my stepbrother. If only Emily realizes how crazy her words were in the light of truth. Emily suddenly looks starry-eyed as she giggles at me. Love knows no boundaries, my dear Lucetta. Besides, he seems to like you. Your brother hates me. Rod can be a contradiction sometimes. Sometimes he says the opposite of what he feels. It's only when you get to know him as well as I do that you realize what his truths are. I cannot help but think of Sabby, who always speaks Rod's thoughts aloud when they are contradictory. He was always so mean to Vyrika when we were young. He would always bully her for being a crybaby, even though he cried far more often. But then I realized that he treated her more special than he did anyone else. Back then, I knew that he liked her. I thought that one day the two of them might even grow to love each other, but Emily lets out a long sigh as she directs her attention out the window. His attitude towards her has changed ever since he was cursed. Then they grew even more distant when Vyrika found a lover. Is there a reason why you've been going to the toy shop with Rod? Because you want to bring them back together? Emily nods. The three of us were best friends. The Three Musketeers. It's not the same without Rod. I keep asking him what's wrong, but he refuses to tell me. He always been stubborn, but it's not like he keeps secrets. It's really frustrating because I have no idea what I should do to help him. I thought he was just being stubborn with me, but apparently no amount of prodding, even from his own family, will make him budge. Why is he being so difficult? I hope you do not mind me asking, but what do you know about his curse? Emily stares at me for a few moments before nodding, and then she explains the Little Mermaid fairy tale, but stops before explaining how it ends. And now we're on chapter 7. And we are going to call it here. We are going to play a game called The Hidden Room on Halloween around the same time I normally stream. So, 2 hours ago is when I started. Almost. Give or take 10 minutes. So hopefully I see you all there. If not, I will see you all next week when we get back to finishing Rod's good route. But otherwise, I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Bye.